I'm sexy and I know it. I'm sexy and I know it.
Hello and welcome to the Medic Training 25th. Today is going to teach you how to do medical on somebody that's gotten hit. And yeah, basically just do other stuff. Stretchers and such. So pretend George is just a standard infantryman, which actually he is, but pretend he's shooting. And you're just shooting at an enemy or whatever. And then he gets shot in the leg. George, can you move? Can you walk?
Oh wait, yep.
Alright, yeah, George can walk, but his aim is very bad. He's bleeding and he needs morphine. And when this happens, you go over here, you hit your environmental action button, which is default your right Windows key. And you'll see 4 things. You want to click examine, and then if it's you want to do the morphine and epinephrine first. But if it's somebody else, you always want to stop the bleeding first.
Oh.
And then you can do the morphine. As you see, the morphine takes about 10 seconds. Same thing with the bandage. And then after that, he's good. He's walking around. He can aim. But the only downfall is he's still bleeding, and possibly he could get back in pain. Because if you go on his environmental, he needs a kit. That means his pain might come back, or he still doesn't have great aim. And sometimes, if they've gotten in the legs too bad, they can't walk. So you want to hit examine and first aid. Now when you hit first aid, it doesn't usually go this fast, but you will do this and he will toss and turn the ground. You will not be able to fire, he will not be able to fire. You always need somebody covering you when you do a belly rub. Alright, and now if somebody's unconscious, like George here, he's kind of go unconscious for a second.
Here.
Shoot him a couple more times.
User left your channel.
Alright, now he's unconscious, as you can see, and when I examine him, he's bleeding heavily. He needs morphine and epinephrine. Now, when he's bleeding heavily, you always want to do the compress first. You always want to use your compresses. Now, if he's just regularly bleeding, then you just use bandages, but compresses for heavy bleeding. You may have to do compresses 1 or 2 times. Like, I shot him a good amount of times, so he'll probably need 2 or 3 compresses. 2, alright? Then you'll do the morphine. Then you do the epinephrine. The morphine and epinephrine take about 10 seconds. Compress, maybe 10, 15, I think it varies. But then it'll say he's waking up if you try to examine him again. Which is not letting me, but it would say he's waking up. There he goes. And then he's able to get up and shoot. He's awake, but he still needs the first aid kit. So you would go to examine, and then first aid. And as you see here, it's actually doing the right time. The heal, the belly rub takes a while. Takes a good 45 seconds, maybe 60. So you always want to do it. It'll disappear, but you're still treating him. So you can move around with your head, maybe even move your body a bit. But if you actually move, the first aid will go away. And if for some reason it lets you move, or there's a guy right there and you're saying screw it, you hit the ace interaction, examine, and hit abort first aid. But that's only, it will still waste your med kit, but it's just in case. But when it's done, it'll successfully patched him up. There you go, successfully patched him up. Now when you heal yourself with the first aid kit, it'll say successfully patched him up fully for some reason. Don't know why. But now he's okay. Now if you were to get shot in the leg, George, go ahead and shoot you in the leg just once. Alright, now you see I'm hit. Now when the red light comes in and you're fuzzy and red, it means you're pain and you're bleeding. But you hit your self interaction menu, which is to the right of your right Windows key, default. And you always want to do morphine first on yourself, because you'll pass out from pain more than you will from bleeding. And after that, you just stop the bleeding. Alright, and then when you can do first aid on yourself, of course, if you're a medic. But like I said, the first aid only goes that fast if you haven't gone unconscious. If you've gone unconscious, it'll take a good 45-60 seconds. But anyway, that's the basic medics portion. Plasmas and splints are not working, or we just don't need them because they're really not needed that much. Now for stretch, be cut and dry. If somebody's down and you need to get them out quick, you just hit your self interaction menu and hit play stretcher. You just poop it out and it's right there. You can either get in if he's still conscious, or go ahead and get out, George. Or if he's unconscious, you just, when he's right by it, you hit the interaction menu. And hit load, and he'll say his name, it's a stretcher. He'll say loading, stand by, and then he'll just pop in there. Now, if you do this alone and carry it on the front, if you do this for a while, it'll say you need some help, and it'll drop it. Yeah, like that. It'll say you need somebody helping you at the top left. Now, go ahead and get out, George. Now pretend somebody's in there, and I gotta lift the front. Now, oh, yeah, you have to stand up while you hit lift stretcher. And now George can lift the back, and now we can go on forever. The guy in the front controls all. The guy in the back, he doesn't have to stand or doesn't have to move or do anything. As you see, if you see George, he tries to move, it doesn't do anything. He just jogging in place. The front guy controls everything. And now, or if you go and then all of a sudden you have to crouch, the stretcher will just fall. As they get up, stand up. And then, of course, you don't do the ace interaction menu when you're doing it, or won't do anything. You just scroll and hit pick up stretcher. It just goes right on your back. Alright, somebody's down a long ways, good ways from here. Alright, come on, go ahead and come over here, George. Alright, you're shooting at somebody, fire, and then all of a sudden, you know, somebody gets unconscious. Oh crap, get them out. Now to drag somebody, pretty self-explanatory, you hit your right Windows key and hit drag. This is for short distances, mainly, not in the, if you're in the open, you just scroll and you hit carry and his name. It'll of course do the little animation. And after it's done doing the animation, go ahead and just carry. Now, if you're not a medic and you need some med kits, or I think it's morphine and epinephrine, you go near an ambulance and you go to it. But you can either load him into the Humvee like this while you're carrying him, or if you're dragging him, you drop and you do the same way with the stretcher. Just load him into the Humvee. I think you can also, while you're carrying him, put him into the stretcher. But then you can, like, it doesn't have to be. And once you're at your destination, you hit your ace interaction menu and you hit pull unit out of vehicle. And it'll pop out always on the right side. And then you just do the normal healing. Normal healing process. Now, if you're infantry and you see a medic and a medic needs, say, hey, can you help me out here? That most likely means they need to do CPR. So let's say George is down, and you're an pretend I'm an infantry. I would come over here and say, if the medic needs help, you go over here. You hit your interaction menu, and you hit CPR. And by doing CPR, it allows you to add more lime and more time for the medic to do his thing. As you see, the CPR doesn't have a meter, it just continues to do its thing, and then whenever you stop doing the animation, you just have to click CPR again.